In deciding which used tire I'm gonna throw on the 230, I polled YouTube, Instagram, and the closed Facebook group for the people who have supported the channel financially. So to give each group like an equal say, I'm counting 1 point for YouTube votes, 2 points for Instagram votes, and 3 points for Facebook group votes. But here are the results. The Trackmaster, it looks like. The K760 is what we're about to throw on, so let's go do that. Screw this crap, man. I freaking hate changing tires. So here's the next victim, about an 80% used up Trackmaster. There we go, guys, ready to shred. Hashtag freshies. Shout out to my sponsors, which is nobody but myself. So you guys chose the rear. Now I'm gonna choose the front. This is a pretty fresh Motaz Tractionator Desert HT. I've heard you can get like several thousand miles out of that. We will see if we can get several thousand miles out of a used one. Right, before I rip this thing off, we're gonna count the side knobs. 10, 11, yep, we got 11. 44, 45. Out of 45. I feel like I got my use out of it. So I inspected the valve clearance on this thing, and before I even set out on making any of these SBBA episodes, I set both valve clearances to 0.10 millimeters, which is the specified clearance. So when I checked it here at about 2,000 miles, the exhaust clearance had jumped to 0.15 millimeters, which isn't terrible, but then I checked the intake and that had jumped to 0.18 millimeters. Seeing that both jumped that much, and this was not a new engine, this was not a fresh assembled engine. In the case of a fresh assembled engine, break-in could result in that big of a difference. That's a bit much, but this is not a fresh cam and rocker pair. So for the clearances to grow by 0.05 and 0.08, that's just a bit too much. So I'm thinking this thing's toast. Then I get the oil analysis back. Yeah, this thing's toast. So there's probably quite a bit of use I can still get out of it, but if stuff is wearing off that fast, there definitely is the potential to have a major flake off of the hardening on the rocker arms. So I'm not super surprised, since this bike was running used old crap and I don't know how many hours and miles were on the used old crap, but the used old crap did not hold up. So I'm gonna have to get in there, but I did one last ride, and during this one last ride, it was like the day of broken bikes. Oh, what happened though?
It was like a neutral. It wouldn't go, so I gave it some RPM. And it just went.
Oh no. So those chunks were definitely the transmission then. So right off the bat, within 30 minutes of riding, Carson's bike over there bit the dust. Before this ride, he had drained the transmission oil and these chunks came out of it. So we were like, that's not good. And then we proceeded to run it anyway, and the transmission bit the dust. And it looks like the root cause was this exploded friction disc, and that probably exploded because there was major notching on the clutch basket. So we parked that thing, and then I continued on the 230 to try to get just a little bit of riding footage. And very quickly into my ride, the 230 got stuck in third gear. So it looks like I toasted this thing pretty quick, and I'm gonna be pulling it apart. But fortunately, I got another bike coming, and it's also a tiny little thing. So it'll also be able to fulfill the small bike, big adventures requirement. Considering how little these tires wore on the way here after 400 miles, they are doing dang awesome off-road. Like, it feels really good. It feels really, really good.